Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video we're going to be looking at Rare Collection 1 on Evercade. Didn't think I'd ever see the day. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So before we get started, I have to say that Blaze did provide this to me for review purposes, but the thoughts in this video are entirely my own and I did not send this video to them prior to uploading to YouTube. Anyway guys, so let's get on with this. We've got 8-bit games, arcade games. I think it's the first Spectrum games on Evercade, which is absolutely amazing. This is Rare Collection 1, 12 games. This is absolutely huge, given the fact that Rare are a huge name. Opening this up for Evercade purposes is absolutely incredible stuff. I'm kind of blown away a little bit that this is now on Evercade, and I guess it shows you where Blaze have come from. Whether it's going to be the best carts we'll ever see in Evercade, I guess, is a different story, but it's the fact that we've got Rare on Evercade. That's the big news from this. So we've got Atic Atac, Gunfright, Jetpac, Night Lore, Lunar Jetman, Saber Wolf, Underwurlde, Battletoads, Cobra Triangle, RC Pro-Am, Conkers Pocket Tales, Battletoads Arcade. So a whole mixture of games here. We've got arcade games, we've got console games, we have home computer games, which means this is actually a reversible cover. It could easily have covered all three. We could have, obviously we could have purple, but I guess the main games are all on the console, so that's why it's stuck with the red label. But the interesting thing is here, it does have a reversible cover and you can have it as the blue one instead, so it's really up to you which one you sort of plump for. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but first we'll have a look at the contents inside the box. Again, we've got the cartridge, which looks fantastic. I love the design of that one. We've got the manual and just a little insert as normal. No stickers, nothing like that, no freebies in this one, unfortunately. So we've got the manual, we'll have a quick browse through that, and this obviously it's got a little bit about Rare. They've got quite a rich background going all the way back to the 80s, when I think they were initially known as Rareware. But I guess a lot of people will probably be more aware of them for the N64 classics that they've done, I guess, such as GoldenEye, which is a big favourite. Don't think we'll ever see that one on Evercade, but we might even see Banjo-Kazooie. That would be more possible, I guess, than GoldenEye. But will we see it? It probably would take a lot of work to get it to run properly on Evercade, but you never know. It says some games in this collection had deliberately cryptic instructions. They're talking about the Spectrum games, so they've been recreated in this manual. But if you need more help function, then read more on the Evercade menus game details information there. So that's basically talking about the Spectrum games. Where quite often there wasn't an awful lot of detail told about how to play the game, how to control it, which can be a little bit frustrating. Something you probably had to wait till the magazines come out to actually get a guide to figure out how to play the bloody things. But anyway, we've got Jetpac from 1983. This is the Spectrum game. We've got Lunar Jetman. This is also a Spectrum game. I think it's actually amazing that we've got Spectrum games on here, not even on a Spectrum cart, but as part of the Rare collection. We've got Atic Atac, another Spectrum title. It'll be interesting to see how this is emulated and how it plays, because obviously that can be a little bit tricky on the devices, more so that they use a lot of keyboard input as well. We've got Saber Wolf, I think that's also the Spectrum title. We've got Underwurlde, which interestingly they've plumped for the C64 version, I think, if I recall. And we've got Night Lore, which is definitely it's an isometric game. This is 100% the Spectrum version that we're using here. We've got another isometric style game, Gunfright, which is also Spectrum. So that's quite a few Spectrum games. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got a C64 game. So it's 6 of them. So half of the cart has home computer games. So yeah, it might be up to you whether you want to switch it to a blue cover instead. So we've got RC Pro-Am, that's a NES game, which is actually quite good. Another NES game, Cobra Triangle, which is quite good fun. We've got the NES version of Battletoads, but I think this is the arcade version, or they've lumped it in all together. Battletoads Arcade and the NES version. NES version of which is pretty hard. We've got Conkers Pocket Tales, which I think was the Game Boy Color version. I'm not sure I got my head around this game, so we'll try our best in the video. And that's it. So we get 12 interesting titles. Let's have a quick bash on the EXP, but I think first we'll actually reverse the cover and see what it looks like. So you can reverse the cover. Obviously, you get the blue style. I'm not sure which I prefer. I think maybe, I guess the red one does have the console number on it, and I guess when you turn it over, it's obviously not got a number. It's basically unnumbered as part of the rare collection. I guess that would have just caused confusion if we added a number here. It's just for decorative purposes only. Let me know, guys, which cover do you prefer? Which one are you going to go for? If you use the blue one, it's going to be out of sync looking on your shelf a little bit, but it does look really nice, no doubt about it. And one thing I probably should point out is that you don't have to change the, obviously on emulation you would have to choose the keyboard, or sorry, the Kempston joystick to actually get playing. But you don't have to choose anything, it will automatically default to the correct controls. You do have the option right enough to change the Knight, Wizard and Surf. Would be pressing the sort of A button, is it? No, sorry, the B button. You can switch between them, or X, A and B, you can switch between the different characters, or X, Y and B, no, X, Y and B, sorry. Obviously choose which one you want to go for. You want to start the game, you just press the start button. You don't have any options anywhere to bring up a keyboard or actually change the options there. It will just default correctly to the controls on Evercade, which is great. So no messing about, no faffing about, no on-screen virtual keyboard, just play it. How cool is this? Spectrum on Evercade. It's been too long, it's been far too long in happening. We should have had this way back in 2020, but as what it is, at least we've got it now. Hopefully it'll open the doors for some more Spectrum classics to appear on the Evercade systems. Anyway guys, let's play these on the VS and we'll give you my full opinions as we go. So first up we've got Atic Atac. This is from Ultimate Play the Game. That's what Rare were known as way back in the early 80s. So this is the first batch of Spectrum games we got on Evercade, and you can only choose the character on the screen there, nothing else. Just start the game by pressing start. Now the object of the game is trying to find 3 pieces to unlock that door you've seen at the start there, but there's multiple layers and levels. You will probably fall down lots of trapdoors. You need to pick up items by pressing the B button, and the items could be anything from keys to different doors. There's lots of health as well. You have to make sure you keep your health replenished because you'll lose it by touching enemies, and it will naturally keep on going down as well, so keep an eye on that. It's almost like a time limit thing that's going down. If you don't replenish the health, you will die and lose a life. I think you have got about 3 or 4 lives before it's game over. I actually enjoyed this game once I figured out what I was supposed to do. It obviously is quite a bit confusing, and it doesn't go into a lot of detail in the manual like a lot of these Spectrum games of what the items do, where to go. Usually I think back in the 80s, 90s you would have referred to maps with the latest Crash magazine or Zap 64, whichever one you prefer to enable yourself to make some progress and figure out what these items did. It's great to see Spectrum on Evercade. I'm absolutely delighted. Hopefully it will open doors for more stuff, and this is actually quite a good fun game once you figure out what you're supposed to be doing. I actually enjoyed it. It is really good stuff. Obviously very dated, annoying sounds, but I quite enjoyed it nonetheless. Okay, the first entry into Battletoads, this was released in 1991 on the NES, and clearly they were heavily inspired by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles as it was known in the UK. It's actually a really good game in its own right. There's lots of really interesting ideas here. It's obviously a scrolling beat 'em up with 3 different characters to choose from, lots of different sort of character within the game, great level design, great ideas, great boss battles. However, it is very, very tricky, notoriously tricky at that, and if you want to see the end of this game, you're definitely going to have to spam those save states pretty much all the time, especially as you get further and further into the game, because you don't get an awful lot of health, you don't get an awful lot of lives either. Once you sort of lose that health, that's it, it's game over, and you can start again, but at the start of that level. I think there's maybe about 10, 11, 12 levels, something like that, so there's certainly a good challenge here, and it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Okay, Battletoads Arcade. This is an absolutely superb game. You can choose between the 3 characters again as usual. You can also play this 3-player on your VS and the Evercade Alpha as well, which I would urge anyone to give this a bash, especially in multiplayer. That's where the fun is at. I played this lots when it was released as part of Rare Replay, and it was such a blast. We played it through to completion, absolutely loved it. Now surprisingly, this was never actually released back in the day. It was rejected at the time, which I don't really see why, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And for me, probably even the best game on this collection. It's such a blast to play. Lots of really cool sort of concepts as well. I like the fact you can kick the enemies through the fourth wall, so to speak, into the screen, which is absolutely fascinating. Yes, this game does get a little bit bloody as well, which is maybe where the rating for the cart comes into. It's not that bad right enough, but it does have some sort of gruesome scenes, so to speak, in some of the sort of boss battles that we go through. But I love this game. I think it's fantastic, and I urge anyone out there, get a copy of this and try and play it on a VS or an Evercade Alpha. That is where the fun's to be had. Still, it's a great single player game as well. Okay, on to Cobra Triangle. This was also released on the NES. As you can see, they're 1988 when they were known as Rare, eventually known as Rare. I think they went through loads of different name changes from Rareware to Ultimate Play the Game originally to what we know today as just Rare. And this is actually a really fun style game. Lots of different challenges within the sort of speedboat. You see they're sort of races, so to speak. It's more like just get to the end of the race and survive. There's like capture the flag bomb style things. There's just try and survive against the current. I think this game is a lot of fun. Quite tricky as you get on right enough, but I think there's about 20 to 25 levels overall, which is quite good value. I don't think you'll get past them anytime soon, but still great fun game and definitely one worth playing. Okay, so this is Conkers Pocket Tales. Now, gladly or not so gladly, this is more of a family-friendly style game in comparison to the other sort of titles from Conker that was released on the Xbox 360 and originally on the N64, because it was pretty much aimed at adults with the language and obviously the theming as well. But this is definitely aimed, it's totally family-friendly orientated stuff. Now, initially, I probably wasn't that really enjoying playing this game because it takes such a long time to get going. You don't really have a lot of weapons to start with, and the idea basically you're trying to rescue your friend back and find all the stolen presents. You can also bury into the garden there, you can see there by pressing the select button. Strange button choice right enough, but that's one of the options. Just bear that in mind throughout the game. Now, right away, it's a strange game because there's characters you can talk to, but sometimes it's confusing whether the characters that you come across you can talk to or they're actually enemies that will hurt you, and you don't necessarily know that till you actually touch them. So I think graphically it's a bit rough around the edges and sometimes not totally clear what you're doing. You can only see the map at certain times as well, which doesn't help, but these characters here do give you helpful advice on where to actually go, so read that and try and follow that as best as you possibly can. Certainly going to be a lot of exploration. Eventually you will pick up some weapons that will help you. You've got a double sort of jump bounce thing, which is really pointless. It's not really worth even engaging with any of the enemies until you get the slingshot later on in the game. Just try your best to persevere. I think there's a reasonably good game here, but it's not amazing. I think it's one of those ones that will get better the more you put into it, because initially it does feel like not much of a game and a little bit disappointing, but there's more of a game here than you initially think. Okay, next up, another Spectrum game. This is Gunfright. Now, don't miss this at the start of the game. You could be half asleep, and before you know it, the game started. Try and shoot as many of these money bags as you possibly can, because that will affect how much ammo that you can start the game with. And once your ammo runs out, you need to find money bags throughout the sort of level as well, so that you can get more bullets for your sort of gun. Now, obviously, the game is you're trying to find the fugitives, the wanted, you can see in the left hand side of the screen here. Now, the annoying thing about this game is you can bump into normal residents of the sort of town here, and you'll basically die and have to start again. That is such a terrible, terrible idea. But anyway, that's part of the game. That is what it is. So there are other residents that will point their finger directing you to where the wanted person is, so try and look out for them and follow them. There's also a horse that you can use throughout the game as well, but it's kind of pointless, just helps you get through the level a little bit quicker. It would have been nice if it lasted longer than it actually does. And once you eventually reach up to the wanted person, you need to be quick and first on the draw, because if they fire first, you're not going to make it. So try and be very, very quick. Probably a good point to actually use the save states before it actually happens. So next up, we've got another Spectrum game. This is Jetpac. This was originally released in 1983 and was the first game released under Ultimate Play the Game banner. And it was apparently Golden Joystick's Game of the Year in 1983. And I can probably see why, because it is quite addictive to play. And it's very simple. You're just trying to build the rocket and then try and fill it up with fuel. And then once it's filled up with fuel, you just jump on the rocket, you go off somewhere and then it probably crashes again. You need to start all over again. Try and avoid all the sort of projectiles that are aimed at you using your laser gun as best as you can. This is actually addictive. Very simple style game for its time, but it's all about the gameplay and it is extremely addictive stuff. I actually quite enjoyed playing this. Okay, next up we got Nightlore. Now this was the first game, or the first title to use the Filmation engine, which was created by Ultimate Play the game for this isometric style view that you see here, which looks really stunning. I think for the time this was just outstanding, and obviously a lot of other games then used the same sort of technique. The Spectrum definitely had lots of these style games on the system. I had a C64. I don't really remember playing a lot of these style games. Head Over Heels obviously being one of them, but there was lots and lots of them. If you got the Spectrum Mini recently, you certainly have seen quite a few of them, and certainly quite different to a lot of games you play. It makes them a little bit tricky. Now the main character is Saberman, and you turn into a werewolf when it gets into night, so you're basically trying to find a cure. You're trying to find some various different items, collect them into a cauldron, and somehow cure yourself of being a werewolf. This is a tricky game, much I guess like Head Over Heels. It's not an easy game to get into and even understand, but persevering you might find something you quite enjoy. It's one of those games that will certainly take a lot of time to get used to. Okay, this is Lunar Jetman. This is the sequel to Jetpac, and I have to be honest with you, this game is an absolute see you next Tuesday. It is honestly one of the most frustrating games I've probably ever played. It's that bad that I probably would rather play the current highlight of the month, Mr. Gimmick. I really was about to throw a wobbly and chuck my joypad off the wall. It's really so horribly sort of put together. You can see the sort of projectiles are just seemingly aimed at you all the time. It's so frustrating, and you're trying to sort of build bridges over the craters that's created. You're just bombarded constantly all the time. I'm not entirely sure what you're supposed to do. I think you're trying to get the bomb onto the sort of moon buggy truck thing and get it to the base or whatever it is you're trying to do. There's lots of different items you can pick up. So there's a different combination. You can use the X to pick or sort of heal or build the bridges there and pick up items as well with the B button, I think. And you've got your lasers. You can hover as well. Quite complicated game. I just wished it wasn't as frustrating due to those projectiles that seemingly keep homing in on your position all the time, and it causes so much frustration. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will probably not even try to play this game. Might be a bit of a shame, but at the same time, if you want to keep your sanity, you probably want to avoid this one at all times. Okay, next up we got RC Pro-Am. This is a NES title from 1988 and I absolutely loved this. I really enjoyed playing through this. Now, you have to finish in the top 3 to make progress. Some of the levels have 2 laps, some of them have 3, 4 laps, and there's lots of different pickups as you go. Now, don't forget to use your bombs by pressing the B button. Sometimes I forgot and I was too busy concentrating on the race when I forgot that I probably need to use the bombs. Especially in the later levels, you have to try and stop the opponents from getting in front of you, because I think once they do, it's really difficult to get back at them. So use that in the later levels. The initial levels, you probably don't need them as much. Now, I really enjoyed this one. It certainly reminded me a lot of games that were made after this and probably inspired these games, such as Super Off-Road, and even like Mario Kart, and probably even later on we had like Micro Machines, which was very similar in vibe to this type of game. Great fun. I absolutely love this type of game. I think this one's certainly one of the best games on the collection. Okay, next up we got Saberwolf. This is part of the Saberman sort of gaming series that was released back in the day. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this one. It did remind me a lot of games like Firelord and maybe Robin of the Wood, but I think the games might be slightly better, perhaps, especially Robin of the Wood. Hopefully we'll see that on Evercade at some point. That's a sort of better game. They use a sort of similar gaming style and sort of gaming mechanics. Now, one of the things that's a bit frustrating about some of the Spectrum games we've got on here, and even Blaze admit it in their own manual as well, that it's not really that clear what exactly you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be collecting, and what the actual purpose and point is of the game. Now, obviously, magazines at the time did help this and provide guides and maps to, and obviously get the best out of these games. So if you want to try and get the best out of some of these games, I would probably recommend reaching out and looking online at some of the guides out there that will probably help you getting the most out of this. For me, it's okay, this game, but it is very frustrating because the merest, slightest touch on the enemies and you will instantly lose a life, and before you know it, you've game overed and you'll have to start all over again. So probably wise to use those game save states as well to try and make some decent progress. What you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, I've still to work that out. Okay guys, so final game, and a little bit of a warning here before you start Underwurlde. Do not press the select button at this particular moment because you will not be able to go anywhere. Apparently it looks like selecting the keyboard and it will mean that you won't be able to control the game. So just press start instead. If you do that, press the reset button, go back to here, press start, do not press select, and then you can start the game as usual. Hopefully Blaze will try and sort that out because that is not ideal, and a lot of people might start this game and think there's an actual bug, but it's not really a bug. It's just how the buttons have been mapped. Now this game is quite frustrating. Do not miss that sling pick up at the start there. I think you press the B button to pick items up. Do not miss it because it will make this game horribly frustrating. Now the game is horribly frustrating as it is, but it will make it even worse and you will probably wonder what the hell you're doing. Even with this slingshot thing, whatever it's projecting looks like bubbles, it's still a frustrating game because basically you bounce around the sort of stages here and the enemies just bounce you about. You can't lose your life by touching any of the enemies gladly. You can only really lose your life by falling down a certain amount of flights. But this game, I didn't really enjoy. I got massively frustrated. I think initially it seems okay, but after a little bit of playthrough and time, you just get really frustrated by constantly getting bounced here, there and everywhere. Okay guys, my final thoughts on Rare Collection 1 on Evercade. First off, obviously it's brilliant that we've got Rare on Evercade. That'll open doors for a lot more things down the line, I'm sure. There was only 3 games I really didn't like in this collection. Lunar Jetman, Saberwolf and Underwurlde. Not a fan, really didn't enjoy them. The rest I was fine with, really good stuff. I really loved Battletoads Arcade, obviously. That is the standout game on this collection, even better in multiplayer. Great to see Spectrum on Evercade for the first time. Hopefully we'll see lots more of them down the line. Not for everyone, but there are some other stuff in this cart that I'm sure will appease even those that don't like the Spectrum games, like the NES games and this one we're looking at. Overall, pretty decent collection. Thanks very much for watching guys, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.